So hello and good morning, and I'm Maya Tripp, Jewish Life and Culture Director at the APJCC in Jewish Silicon Valley. And Sigal is with us. She's a retired Hebrew literature and Jewish studies teacher and educator. Over the years, she worked in different Jewish educational institutions and settings. In the past 12 years, Sigal has been a docent at the San Francisco Contemporary Jewish Museum. Nowadays, Sigal is keeping busy with the love of her life, her grandchildren, and different volunteering activities. Hello, Sigal.
Hello.
So the stage is yours.
Okay, are we waiting for more people or do you want me to start? However you want. Starting? Okay. Hello, everyone. So I'm Sigal, and I'm going to do today a presentation that has to do with social issues that we are facing. And it's related to the theme, the Jubilee theme that this year was decided on, and that's ways to restore, release, and renew our relationships and our communities and our world. And I really try to get from different parts of the world, different art, just to show that we're all in the same boat, basically. Modern visual art, and especially contemporary visual art, is really a reflection of the times that it was being created in. And there is also a change in the approach that we looking at art. We are not looking with a magnifying glass at every detail and we say, but what did the artist meant to say? It's really not important anymore. Whatever is presented, it's what the observer, you and I, see and impressed by. It's really our opinions into it, our views into it. And the question, of course, if the artist can make a change with what they present or display. So I'm going to start with a presentation, and let me share the screen. And here we go. So we're going today to work on social issues through visual artworks. What I didn't say is that I ask a lot of questions, and please be part of it. It's not a lecture where I say, if I get from you, you respond, I can go on, because I mean, it just makes it much more interesting. So let me tell you what you're looking at, unless you can guess. We are looking at the concert hall in Berlin. These are the posts in the front. And what do you think those orange things on it? Any guesses?
It looks like some kind of clothes or
like vest of some kind. So these are 14,000. What you're looking there are 14,000 orange light jackets, and they're all wrapped around the in Berlin.
Orange what?
life jackets. When you go on boats, you have to have life jackets. These are 14,000 of them. And the question is, why? Maybe I'll also tell you the year. The year is 2016.
Immigration by boat.
That's right. From where to where?
From poor countries to Berlin or Europe.
That's right. So really, in Germany, they have the biggest refugees amount of people that came in. The crisis started in Europe in 2015. My phone is ringing. This is a Chinese-born activist that lives nowadays in Berlin. His name is IYY. Anyone heard about IYY? He's really known for a social activism and statements through sculptures and installations. And nowadays he lives in Berlin, and it's really hurting to see all those people coming in. So why life jackets? Because they belong to the refugees. And as we said, it refers to the crisis that all those immigrants arrived into Europe, especially from Syria, Afghanistan, Kurdistan, but also from Africa up into Europe. In Germany, they had over 1,300,000 refugees coming in. I think it's the largest group of refugees that arrived to Germany, and they had to do all kinds of things to help them. But what IYY wants to do is to make us all aware of what's going on around us. He utilized the jackets into putting it into the view. The concert hall in Berlin is a very main place and cultural place. It's what it's called. It's in your face. You can't ignore it. You have to look and you have to think on which side of the view are you. Do you feel for those people? Do you want to help them? Is it important to help them? And so on. So those jackets, most of them arrived from Lesbos. Lesbos was the Greek island that most of the refugees arrived from Turkey to Greece, and then into Europe, and ended up in Europe, and especially in Germany. I was in Lesbos in 2014. It was already the crisis, and it was terrible. We couldn't stay at the island because really the refugees were everywhere, in every park, on the streets. It broke my heart. I couldn't look at it. It's you know that you need to do something and you really cannot. What is the little person can do to help them besides giving them few dollars? And you can't give all of them. So it's a crisis that really wrecked Europe, and I don't know, do you think in other places too?
I think it's such an impactful installation because you come to hear a concert, you don't really expect anything out of you, and then this saying is really in your face, as you said, and this feeling of even when you go to something entertaining, you still have to keep at the back of your mind that that there are problems
Correct.
to be solved and to be
Right.
active about.
Right, even though we live in our bubble, we need to remember that there are others that.
Yeah, and also they did it so aesthetically. It's like you can still maybe ignore it and think about the beautiful colors unless you want to be open to the to what's behind it. You can actually look at it and say, oh, it's very beautiful, but when you get closer you probably can't ignore it.
Right, so when you go into the concert hall, on top of the entrance, if you can see, it's a shape of a blow-up boat, and in it there is a hashtag and it says safe passage. So it doesn't say much, but it does say a lot.
I just noticed that it's a boat. It's crazy how we ignore the details to avoid them.
Right, you have to look closely to see. So really, I think that social statements that are done by artists, it's they are influenced by the events and crises and policies and such etc. that happens. But when we look, at their displays and installations, I think for the average person, it's the fact that they able to express what people struggle to put into words. We don't really know how to say or express what we want to, but they do it for us. And maybe through that, they make some kind of changes. So let me start going a little faster through this. I think you imagine what it refers to. It's really the refugees issues in Europe got so many artists, into action. Any idea who could have done this artwork?
Who is the artist behind it? Where was it?
That was in actually, I mean, the artist is England-based, and we don't know his real name. He does a lot of murals, and he's right now. That's right. He has an exhibition in San Francisco right now. And I think he really says the same thing. He, of course, refers to the immigrants that come from different places into Europe, because it's a global, really a global politic and social issue. He never says, we don't know his name. He likes to be without the real name. I think he has a very strong statement. What do you think the statement here is? Is it clear what he wants to say? What do you read in this?
Of course, we see the sad faces. We see how they squeezed in, and we see a kind of a gun aimed at them. Or...
because they're being pushed out from the territorial waters into the open sea. You can also see the people. They're definitely not what we used to see in Europe. These are people that coming from a completely different culture.
And I think it's the same face copied. It's like the same person. They
I
are
don't think it's the
really
same, but maybe the same features. Yes.
and I think it's very direct. It's like even too direct. It's even not. It could be just a picture of things that are really happening. It doesn't leave room for metaphors or something.
Right. Banksy is known for being very direct. It's really, I mean, even the reflection of the people in this small boat, in the reflection in the water, he continues it. He doesn't let go. Okay, so the immigration is, of course, not a social issue only in Europe. It's also here in the United States. And this is called the Undocumented Migration Project. What do you think it refers to? Here in the United States, here in California, we're very well aware of it. You see that the map, it's a very large map, by the way. It's a 20-feet map.
It's border crossing, the border crossing right there.
From where to where?
From, well, Central America to our border.
That's right, but you see that there is a Tucson and Phoenix. It's into Arizona,
so California is so covered, I guess, that we don't see the word California.
We don't see because this installation is focused right here on this area. This is the main crossing board point. I want to show you the enlargement of those tags. Do you know what these tags are? It's a little gruesome. So when a person is passing away and being taken away, they have on their toe you put a identification tag. These are the tags that are being put on. If you look closely, you'll see that all of them say unknown. So what is it? Why unknown? So apparently, hundreds of migrants die every year because the inhuman border policies that if they cross the border and being caught, they funnel to a very remote and deadly region of the United States-Mexico border. And when those individuals die and they're unidentified, and they leave a lot of families, in a desperate search for answers regarding, where are they, their whereabouts. So these are the tags, and look at the amount. I mean, the map is humongous. If you think about 20-feet map on the wall, it's huge. And look how many tags. It's a heartbreaking that someone passed away. We don't know where he's from, what's his name, and how to let his family know that he's no more with us.
But
So,
Sigal, I wonder what makes it art. It's a demonstration. It's a very direct demonstration that could even be kind of a legal evidence, or I mean, do you see it as an art installation or project?
so it is an art installation that the organization of the undocumented immigration and migration put on. They asked for a few artists to help them. What this a project is doing is they try they try by different features to find where those people came from and let their families know. If it's by asking people that cross the border with them, even a name, maybe a last name, maybe where they came from. They try to find and connect the dots. But there are about 3,500 tags here, so it's a huge number. It's a huge number of people that were buried. Yes, go.
Yeah, the San Jose Museum of Art does a lot of things like this, and I could see this in our museum
I agree.
because
I
they do
agree.
border crossing issues and social justice issues.
Yes, absolutely. That could be definitely one of them. And I visit the museum, but I don't have any contact there. But yeah, absolutely. Okay. So I moved to another medium. It's not an installation, it's a photograph. This photograph won the 2020 photography competition. And I leave it to you. What do you see? I mean, I see all of you doing this, but yeah. It catches our heart, isn't it?
It's heartbreaking.
It's a heartbreaking.
And I can only pray that it's not near Israel.
So it's hard to see. Look at the father who's doesn't have one foot, and look at the child that has no limbs, no hands, no legs.
But there's joy on their faces, though.
Wonderful. That's what I want. The joy of being together is the pure joy and love that you have between parents and their children. And look at the environment. Look where they are. It's not a posh neighborhood. It's a neighborhood that went through war zone. It's a war zone. It's a Turkish photographer, and here is what he said about it. This little boy's father, Manzir, lost his right leg when a bomb was dropped as he walked through a bazaar in Idlib, in Syria. His son Mustafa was born without lower or upper limbs due to a congenital disorder caused by the medication his mother had to take after being sickened by the nerve gas released during the war in Syria. They have to live their life. It is what it is, and still, I mean, it's unbelievable. This is a place in a country we usually don't hear about. It's a very Muslim and very closed country, Turkmenistan. and it's a huge crater or a pit. It's called the door to hell, and some call it gates of hell. And actually, a few days ago, I read in the news that their president decided that he wants to somehow turn off this site, and he doesn't want any more tourists coming in. So what is this crater? This is actually a gas crater, and it's in the Khartoum Desert. And it attracts hundreds, if not thousands, of tourists every year. It's really a good tourist place for in this country. But in 1971, their public was still under the Soviet Union, and some scientists were looking for oil fields, and they, they used some bombing to find where it is, and they started drilling. And unfortunately, they were drilling on top of a pocket of natural gas, and it couldn't support the equipment. And the equipment was too heavy, and the whole thing just caved in. What it did, it triggered a lot of rocks to move in this pit or cave, and it was like a domino effect, and small tunnels and small small craters also opened, and the gas just keep burning. And you can't, I don't know how they want to close it, but that would be another project for them. So it's really not a social issue per se, but it's an issue because, I mean, all the smoke goes up and not good for the environment. To the same effect of this, I want to show you this. And to ask you, do you know, what do you think it is?
It looks European.
Is it in England or London?
This is in London, yes.
Because of the umbrella?
Yes.
So what do we see? We see a figure holding, what do you think holding?
Well, it doesn't look like an umbrella, but I'm looking at the irony of, oh.
Globus?
Oh.
A
It's
globus?
the globe, yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
And by the way the dress or the cover of the figure moves, there's a lot of wind apparently. So it's called the force of nature. And even though this one is from London, it's located in major cities around the world. The artist actually is Italian. His name is Lorenzo Quinn, and I think his father, we know his father because he's a very famous actor from a famous movie called Zorba. And he really was inspired by the terrible nature wrath that can be awakened at any time. We have floods and we have tornadoes and hurricanes, and look at the United States, what we're going now with the weather, what we suffer from. It's made all from stainless steel and aluminum, and it really wants to depict the nature or Mother Nature hurling the planet in circles. And we're gonna move to, I think, one of my favorite artists ever. Anyone recognize? Norman
Rockwell.
This is Norman Rockwell, and his painting from '61 is called The Golden Rule. And why? I mean, what do you think he wants to say here? Oh, what does he depict in it?
Diversity.
Diversity, absolutely.
With religions, with cultures.
Different cultures, different
colors.
Different colors, skin colors, different ethnicity. And what does he say really? He says very simple, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Meaning, in simple words, don't do to others whatever you don't want to be done to you. So it's the concept of respect. The United States for many years was called the melting, help me out here?
Pot.
The melting pot. And the idea was that we all come in here and we're melting into be something else. But it really doesn't work like this. I like, nowadays people move into the metaphor of a salad, that we all one big salad. I actually like more the metaphor of an orchestra, where each instrument have their own voice and their own, their own voice, their own shape, and their own abilities, because we can all contribute something to the whole community and keeping the special part of us. And I think today more than ever, it's important in the Jewish community, in the community we live in, definitely in the United States, also in Israel. It's important that each group will have something of their culture, but we all work to be in harmony. That's the most important thing, that we respect and be in harmony. In 1985, now I can't remember, I think 85, when Reagan was the president of the United States, the first lady donated she donated funds to the United Nations to have this picture be done in a mosaic style on the wall. And what you see is the mosaic on the wall in the United Nations in New York. And I think the United Nations was established to keep the harmony of the communities around the world. If they succeed, I don't know, but at least that's the goal. And I'm going to leave it to you. Oh boy, what do you see? I know it's a weird thing to look into, but please, what do you see?
Well, I see a cell phone.
Okay, part one, yes.
I see a sort of a piece of luggage.
Good.
And lots of packing materials.
Uh-huh. So the cell phone is packed into a luggage, like suitcase, with a lot of packing, isolating material around it. Okay.
And then on the other side, there's, well, on both sides, but there's like a window with bars.
Uh-huh. So at some point, what are we going to do with this luggage? We're going to
close it.
close it. So our precious cell phone is packed into a safe place, maybe, isolated place. Why?
Well, to get rid of it.
To get rid of it. Okay. When do we really want to get rid of it?
When we want to be solitary and alone.
Okay.
I want to do it to my daughter's phone every day of the week.
So funny enough, this artist calls it the Sabbath cell phone silencer. It was an exhibition that was all dedicated to Shabbat, but that's what he did.
Oh.
He put it in this bag and put the tag. When you lock it, you want to remember that on Shabbat, you get a rest, okay? But a rest from what? And why from a cell phone? You know, there is a whole, in the Bay Area, there's a whole movement. And a few years ago, they sent people those little bags where on Friday night, you put your cell phone in it and you put it somewhere that's, you know, far away from your eyes. So, you know, away from your eyes, you don't think about it because you need one day to be for yourself. Think about the cell phones. It's our oxygen line. We can't be without it. It's everywhere here. That's right. We all with it. We constantly focusing on the cell phone and we forget that, you know, there are other things to do. We can talk to each other, converse with each other. We might read a book. There are other things to do. Put the cell phone away. Now, this presentation, I finished it about 3 weeks ago when Maya told me I did it and I finished with it, it was done. And then a site on Facebook that I look at from time to time had this picture and I couldn't resist, I had to put it on. What do you think?
That's good.
No?
That's good.
Do you object it? Do you agree with it?
But it's surprising because this whole, I mean, going from refugees, that it's like a third world problem to our being addicted to phone, which is such a first world problem. And why can't we just leave it aside? You know, we are free. I mean, we can do it.
That's right. So there is a very famous rabbi, Rabbi Joshua Heschel, and he said, and when I found it, I thought, perfect for this. We must not forget that it is not a thing that lends significance to a moment. It is the moment that lends significance to things. And unfortunately, we are all into those things instead of remembering, the moment. I have two grandchildren, the love of my life, and I see my daughter. I mean, every little thing goes with the phone. First turnaround, first standing up, first everything. I'm not that fast even to think, oops, I need my camera on the phone because it's going to do something. But that's our life today. And maybe it's not a social issue per se, but it is a social issue. Okay. Again.
Is it in New York?
It is in New York.
Kind of a Rockefeller Center, or?
I think it's the Rockefeller Center, yes. And
woman with her hands over her eyes.
Nice. It's a young woman and her hands are on her eyes. What does it mean over her eyes?
It's like the three monkeys, I would say, covering her eyes, and she also looks like one of the Gordesh Hakim sky.
The skyscraper, yes. It's extremely tall. It's 24 feet high. This artist is a Spanish artist, Joan Plesna. I love Joan Plesna. I can do a whole presentation only on Joan Plesna. And he calls it Behind the Walls. And he put it in a very center point in New York City. And I don't know, I have the feeling that he wants to evoke something. What does he want? And if we're talking about that we all live in our own bubble.
Yeah, I would say we are hiding from the problems. It's just again putting it in the Rockefeller Center with all the brands and the shops around it. It's
and so many people moving in and out, and most people are not even stopping to look at it. It's just a piece that is there. It could be a tree, it could be a rock. They just go by. They don't stop to look what it is. Plesna said that sometimes our hands are the biggest walls. They can cover our eyes and we can blind ourselves to so much of what's happening around us. And when we live in a world where there are so many issues and you just want to put this and cover yourself and protect yourself and leave me out of it. I don't want to take part of it. But unfortunately, we don't need to make a statement and be part of it and have an opinion or a view or a voice in something. So this is Plesna, and I'm doing fine. Why are you laughing?
Well, it reminds me of that World War II.
Yeah. You're on the right direction.
So, but yet this is the opposite. It's not a taking down of something. It's a putting up of like a world flag by
The
children of
American
the world.
flag, that's right, in World War II.
Oh no, we did put the flag up in World War II as well, but it had a different meaning.
That's right. So this meaning, I mean, I'm glad that you see the correlations here. What do we see? I mean, it's a happy picture, definitely a happy picture. We see children. Where are they from? What are they?
Again, it looks pretty diverse.
Very diverse, different backgrounds and different ethnicity. And they putting a very happy, colorful flag up together. And there is a definitely reference to this photo that a photographer named Joe Rosenthal received the Pulitzer award for that. It's from the Mount Suribachi in Japan in World War II. The American succeeded to get to this island where it was surrounded and by Japanese, and here they are succeeded to come in and put the flag, the American flag, up. So on the same relationship, this colorful painting really wants to say that it's time to embrace the differences. As we talked in Norman Rockwell, that we need to be respectful and be one big orchestra and not going, against each other. Do you think Chad Glass made his point clear? What do you think?
Yes.
I think it's very clear, and I think the goal is the goal of all of us. What would you title this? It's interesting to hear. What would you?
Raising another flag.
Okay.
The flag of peace or something like that.
Nice. So what he called it, he titled it Planting Peace.
Planting.
It's nice that we have Tu B'Shvat this week, and we're planting, but not a tree, but we're planting a flag for peace, and it's part of the same idea. This is not quite a mural, but it's a painting, and we have it really all over the Bay Area. This approach now that we are covering with paintings, all the power boxes. This power box is in Fremont. Do you think the statement is clear?
Yes, yes.
I
remember something like that from my childhood, but less hands. Maybe there were only like 3 colors of hands, but now there's more.
Okay, by a painter. I'll show you in a minute. So this is done by 3 high school girls in a project of covering really the power boxes in Fremont. They bid on the power box and they received it and they did it. And they decided to title it Always There For You. I don't know if you know anything about Fremont, but Fremont is really a very mixed cultural city. Really, there's a lot of different cultures in Fremont, and they named it Always There For You. And they explain that it means kindness. And kindness is a trait that shows itself through the actions of those who want to help others. Kindness is in relationship means reaching out to those who need it, regardless of the circumstances, and always for the benefit of the community and those within it. So kindness is never something you do because you know that you're going to benefit from it later in some way. You do it from really the goodness of your heart for or to someone you really think need it. I wonder if that's the painting that Jerry referred to.
Oh,
Is that what you had in mind?
you know, it looks like Ben Sean, but no, I don't know that one, but that's so
Okay.
interesting that maybe that's the original source material of what I remember.
Maybe. It's a very old ink drawing and paint, and it's by George Gisotti. And
Oh,
he did it after a 1933 speech that was given in Hawaii. And a very famous sentence in this speech was, civilization is a method of living, an attitude of equal respect for all men. In 1933, so what does it mean? It really means we're all the same. We're all born the same way. We maybe different skin color, maybe different culture, but we all really the same. And the woman who said it is a woman who was the first American woman who received the Nobel Peace Prize. Her name is Jane Addams. Until I found this painting, didn't hear about her, but she was an American activist, very fierce woman, reformer. She was a social worker. She was a public administrator, and she really was a leader of social work in women's life. She advocated for women's rights, for daycare, for example, for children, so women can be more than just a housewife. And she received in 1931 the Nobel Peace Prize. And it's important. I think the message, you know, we're talking 33, 55, and today, the message is the same message going all through. Unfortunately, we're not following it so well, but the message is the same message. And I want to finish with a very positive perspective. I'm sure everyone knows it.
Sister Karita.
It's Robert in Vienna, and actually in the Israel Museum in Jerusalem, there is the same sculpture, but in Hebrew, with the word Ahava. You know, the artist here is one who really loves to explore just the American experience, and regular objects and topics and language, and he did it, and it took like fire when it was first presented in 66. People came specifically to see it, and then it was in a small keychains and on shirts and little statues that you could say. I mean, it was like, but why? Why? What does it say that we all gravitate towards it? Because it's so positive. It's really, the world needs love, 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 love. And he said that in the beginning it was a spiritual concept, but it's not a sculpture of love any longer. It just became the very theme of love itself. You know, it's not the sculpture. It took off from the space and it just, you know, spread all around.
Can I ask a question?
Or
You know, I mean, this has been on postage stamps and everything, and I know we love it for all the right reasons, but now that it's so, is it cliched now? So all these people can walk past it and not even admire it? Is that what you started to say?
I think that's what he says, that at some point it became just.
So Sister Karita would be very disappointed.
Yeah. So people who maybe know about it and come and see it, they're all, you know, I went to see it years ago in New York, and I was like, oh my goodness, I read about it, and I know the one in Jerusalem, and you know, but you know, people that go in New York every day, pass it, for them it's like, oh well, another thing there. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it wears out.
But that's another statement about art, because I think no matter what you put, even if you put like the most depressing art, if you just go past it every day, you will ignore it within time. You have to kind of change. In New York, there are so many tourists that are seeing it for the first time. But if you are a resident and you go, you will just ignore it.
Right. Right. At some point, it just, I know this thing. Yeah, I agree. In 2008, Robert and Diana felt that there's a big change in the United States. You remember what happened in 2008?
Say that again.
In 2008, he felt that there's a big change going to happen in the United States. And he did.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So just to connect, Barack Obama was elected president, and
right.
Diana felt that there is hope. I mean, we're on a new path here, and he did this one, which is also in New York. And
I have my Obama Hope little sticker right here.
All right, show.
Where do I put it to show?
Right in front of the.
Yeah,
Oh, fantastic! Yes, yes.
Okay.
And that's the idea, really. What they did is really they printed it on so many merchandise, from T-shirts to pin, everything, just to alleviate this hope all the way up. So do you think that's a personal speaking here, or it's a general?
It's
I mean, no doubt the artist did it as personal thing. He takes personal issues and put it out there, but if it spread like fire,
It's the zeitgeist of the moment that yeah, it had a lot of power.
yeah, it had a lot of power. Yeah. And you see that the word stuck, because if you have the hope sticker and it was also a stamp, I think, it meant that there really, I think he influenced here a very big group of people, a humongous actually. So I want to finish, and my last slide will be few questions that I'm going to leave up in the air and then unshare, and then we can have some discussion. So, did you have one artwork that touched your heart or moved you in any way? And do you think that a social justice focused art leave any impression on the individual or on a community? I don't know. And might the social justice driven art change an observer perspective? Meaning, if we look and we didn't think about something, can it change something in our mind setting? So I'm going to stop sharing and hear comments and ideas and what do you think?
I hope that this kind of art has power to change people's perspective. We're so polarized now that I just don't even know.
Well, I think, you know, Robert Indiana succeeded somehow a little bit. So I wonder if others can change. Did you have a one of those installations?
You're frozen.
To me, I'm always I find the works that are not so depressing and not I need it to be a little
with some hope.
To maybe not even hope, but to be kind of not so direct that I'm, you know, running away.
Okay.
So maybe, you know, maybe the first one that connected the people that came to the concert hall, also because I'm interested in the refugees topic, and I think that it cannot influence a person in a, you know, blank world. You have to get some real information. It has to connect to some other platforms in order to make a change. But you know, as they say in marketing, you have to see something 7 times to make a change, or to make someone want to do something. So maybe if you keep on seeing the same things that influence you, so it adds up to actually make the step and make a change. But it couldn't be, I think, art alone. Art alone is powerful. Maybe it could be the seventh thing, and then you actually do it.
It's something that almost like a seed in your brain, and now you have to start thinking about it.
Yeah.
And you're right, there is for many sculptures and installation and also painting, visual art, you need to know a little bit of the background story. I call it the story thread, a little bit. Maybe not necessarily where the artist is from and where did he go to school, but a little bit what pushed him to do this thing and not something else. Yes.
So I want to believe in the power of art. Convince me. I mean, to me, of course, all those were powerful. I remember seeing a picture, I don't know what European country it was, but I guess it was somewhere where Nazis reigned, but there were like these bronze shoes at the front of like a canal. You must know it. Budapest. Okay. So I mean, I wasn't there, but I thought I'd love to be there to see that, and I'm never going to forget it. And it was just one image.
That's right.
So I do feel that it's powerful.
I agree. Yeah. Absolutely. So maybe it doesn't change a whole lot.
Well, does it change a heart?
That's right.
And especially a heart that's been hardened.
That's an important comment. That's right. Good.
I don't know if Avital, you want to say something? Sorry to put you on the spot, or I know that Susan joined us really at the last minute, but that's okay if not.
No, I just want to thank Sigal, and I'm sorry I joined late, but yeah, Sigal, as always, it's very, very
Thank you, Avital.
interesting, and
To see you here.
you have so much knowledge. I'm impressed.
I work for this. It's not easy, but yeah, I enjoy every minute of it.
How can I tell my friends to watch the recording of it?
I think we will put it on our YouTube, and I can send it to you. So I want to
Frozen
thank
again.
Sigal. I know how much work is behind every presentation, and it was really, I mean, really, I will think about it a lot, and I'm
Good.
expecting
I'm happy.
to attend more of your lectures. So thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Can you put on the screen how I could tell other friends to?
I will
see
email
this?
you. I will email you.
You will email me. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because we had to
We
put it
froze and I
online.
didn't, if I asked before, it was because we froze and I didn't hear anything.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Don't worry. Okay, so Shabbat Shalom and thank
Shabbat
you.
shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Bye
Thank you so much.
Shalom, thank
Great. It was
you.
really great.
Great.
bye.